market crash, depreciation, deceleration, housing recession. A lot of terms are being thrown around in the media right now. I'm Joe Schwartzbauer with Great Oak Properties and the Real Broker here in the Twin Cities, and we're here to give you a local real estate market update. Real estate is local. What happens here is not the same as what happens on the coast or other cities around the country. It's always local. Being on top of your local data is very, very important. Now, if this type of information is valuable to you, give us a subscribe, hit that little bell button, drop a like, a comment. All those things really help out the algorithm to make sure that all of this information is being shared as widely as possible. So let's get into the data. You guys know I love it. All right, as always, we're gonna jump into the data right away, and we are looking at months supply. Months supply, we actually expected to increase as it has been increasing, and a lot of the news out there, and honestly, a little bit of what we're feeling out there with a little less buyer demand. We expected the inventory to go up. It actually dropped off by, a 0.1%. So not too much. We went from 1.4 to 1.3. Not a huge change there. Sale price. Our median sale price also remained level. I thought this was going to drop a little bit, not a lot, maybe like $5,000. I thought we'd be at $395,000, but we stayed stable at $400,000. Now, a little context to this. 2021, we started the year at $320,000, we peaked at $385,000, and we ended up coming down to $350,000. Now, the numbers on that are we peaked at a 20% appreciation, but by the end of the year, it fell to 9.3%. So 9.3% last year in the 7-county metro here in the Twin Cities. Single family is what we always like to take a look at. Previously owned and traditional sales. We don't want to have any foreclosures, short sales, lender mediated, any of that type of stuff. This is the data that we like to look at. It's consistent. We consistently look at it, so it's really the good stuff for us anyway. So last year, again, we peaked at 20% appreciation and it fell all the way down to 9.3. This year so far, starting out at 350, going up to 410, that was a 17.1% appreciation increase, and we've so far dropped to 14.2. Now, where do I expect these numbers to go and where do I think we will end at the end of this year? I'm going to say 9%. I'm going to say we're going to end with 9% appreciation for 2022 for single family, previously owned, traditional sales. Just with the inventory being low, I just don't see housing prices dropping that much. I don't think we will have essentially a more than 50% decrease in value from the peak down to the valley. And it's just something that we see every single year. Real estate is cyclical. We go up and down. Summer months, we peak out. Winter months, we go down. So percent of original list price, we are now at 100%. We've been over 100% since February. Last October, November, December, and January, we remained at 100% as well. So it is a little bit interesting to see this, that we've now got to 100%. Last August, we're at 102.4. That was also an absolutely crazy year in the real estate market. The first time that we ever got above 100% was August of 2020. Things have been crazy ever since then. So, what we typically see is peaking out at 100% in the summer. So, is this a market crash? By no means. This is just getting back to a more normal market of where things should be. Days on market, we have increased from 4 days all the way up to 12 days. So we've gained 8 days from our low of this year at 4. We've moved up to 12. Not a huge number. This is offering some really great reprieve for buyers in the market, though. It used to be over the past year and a half to 2 years, we were seeing homes listed on a Thursday, sold by Friday or Saturday. Most of them wouldn't make it all the way through the weekend, and we were seeing some absolutely crazy prices. So looking back at like 2019, the lowest days on market we had was 14. So, if we are now at 12, we're just kind of getting back to what should be a more normal market. Getting back to a time when inventory was, over 2 months. What would that do to our current market if we had 2 months of inventory? That would be absolutely amazing, but we're just not going to get there this year. We're still going to remain with this low inventory, and low inventory is one of the big factors that is keeping our pricing high. Keeping our pricing high. Low inventory, high pricing. It's supply and demand economics. It's pretty simple breakdown of that. All right, now let's get into some of the numbers for showings per week per listing in that median sale price range for single family homes here 2022. Let's get this to work properly here. We are down to All right, now let's get into some of the numbers for the showings per week per listing in that median sale price range. We are down to 2.91. This is for Minneapolis and St. Paul. This is actually down from what we've seen last year, 2020, as well as down from 2019. We've actually been below numbers from 2019 since May. Since the end of May, basically beginning of June, is when we started to see these numbers decrease. Interest rates have had a big factor in that, as well as inflation. People are watching what they're purchasing, they're rethinking their purchases. I will say real estate is the best hedge against inflation. My home values have continued to go up. Real estate is just a great investment. Kind of doesn't matter what's going on out there. Now let's look at the suburbs. We are down from 2021, but we are still up in the suburbs 19% from what we saw in 2019. There's still a lot of buyer activity out there. Now, when we look at the total number of tours, the total number of tours taking place is down. This was Labor Day. We do tend to see it drop quite a bit during these holiday weekends, but we are down below the numbers of what we saw in 2019. There is less buyer activity out there. Now, if you are, let's get into if you're a buyer in this market a little bit later. Let's go into mortgage rates. Freddie Mac. This is something that I want you all to see right here. The market's renewed perception of a more aggressive monetary policy stance has driven mortgage rates to almost double what they were a year ago. The increase in mortgage rates is coming at a particularly vulnerable time for the housing market, as sellers are recalibrating their prices due to lower purchase demand, likely resulting in continued price growth deceleration. Deceleration. Remember that term? We're going to talk about it a little bit later. So on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, right now we're looking at about 5.66. If you want to do a 15-year, you can actually get below 5%. Not bad. These interest rates are actually not bad. All right. You saw the data. You see what we're looking at here. Doesn't look like a market crash to me. Does it look like one to you? I just don't see the market crashing. The people that are looking at these numbers on a macro level are also not seeing the market crashing. Deceleration, 100% is taking place. But what does deceleration mean? Essentially, deceleration means that we're just not appreciating at the same rate that we were previously. So about on average from 2012 to right around 2019, we've seen typically about 4 to 4.5% appreciation per year. Over the past few years, seeing these numbers double that, that's crazy. It's not sustainable, essentially. We're we're not supposed to appreciate quite that much in housing. Now, is it going to come back down and drop way below? It's not going to, but we are just not increasing at the same rate that we were increasing as far as sale prices go before. Now, housing recession. This is something else that a lot of people are talking about, and I will tell you that there is no defined term for housing recession. This is a term that literally has just been made up by the media, that is coming out right now, that's getting a lot of clicks. You know, for our economy, a recession is 2 consecutive quarters with negative GDP, essentially. So, you know, what is the term for a housing recession? Nobody really knows, but it's being thrown around a lot out there right now. Are we in a housing recession? Absolutely not. We are just not seeing the same activity that we saw over the past 2 years, which was crazy. It was an absolute frenzy and something that we will probably never ever see again. The people that bought a few years ago are reaping the benefits of what took place with 20% growth in the past couple years. It's absolutely amazing. Real estate was a phenomenal investment. Now, what do we expect to see over the next few years? Well, there has been a lot of different graphs that have come out that are showing that next year for 2023, they're expecting to see more of a 6 to 7% appreciation. And 2024, more like 4 to 5%. And 2025, they're thinking 3 to 4%. So, you know, that's a lot of appreciation that I wouldn't want to wait around for. You know, there's a lot of people that want to time the market. Timing the market is something that is wildly difficult to do and basically near impossible. You know, if you're planning on living in your home for at least 3 to 5 years, you're gonna see some benefit from that. It is always cheaper than renting. You can actually gain some appreciation, put some money in your pocket, and you know, a house is one of these things that you can force appreciation on. Not many other things out there, it's just not possible to do that. You know, if you add another bedroom, you are increasing the value of your property. If you update your kitchen, you are increasing the value of the property. If you add square footage, especially above grade square footage, you are now increasing the value of the property. That's something that you can't do with stocks. It's just something that is very, very difficult to do in pretty much any other investment that there is out there. So, overall, are we in a housing recession? No, we're really not. Are we seeing deceleration? Yes, we are. It is just not gaining appreciation like we have in the past. Though this year, I got to look back at my numbers, peaking out at 17%, dropping to 14%. I'd say we end the year, you know, 7, 8, 9%, right in that area. And housing crash. Is this a housing crash? It is absolutely not. Now, real estate is local, and I was looking here at the 7-county metro. If you are interested in your very local market, an area that you're looking to move, or just thinking about selling and wanting to get an updated home value of your house, reach out. We're happy to do that for you. Every community is a little bit different. Every community moves a little bit differently. So reach out. We're happy to give you those detailed numbers. But again, if you've stuck around this long, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, give us a comment, tell us if you like this, tell me if my hair was good, if it was bad, whatever you want to do. Thank you for sticking around. We're going to have a lot more content like this coming to you guys. We'll see you next time.